Alright, so with Mr. Kearns being absent, I am now presenting our last project, which we did on social mobility and injury in sports. So we wanted to ask first, why are sports important? So we're going to go over the three main theories. We're going to go with the functionalism first. Instills sense of physical well-being and self-worth for participants, and it also satisfies innate competitive drives and provides an avenue of social mobility for lower class participants. So what we wanted to show was how if you're the lower class, most people would think you have a better chance of making it to the big leagues. So the latent function is it socializes adolescent participants to value the basic principles of teamwork, diligence, and respect, and allows participants to experience coping with loss. So it teaches the important values in life that we would not necessarily think it would, but it shows how it does. And then the dysfunction of it is it can promote winning at all costs, the premature specialization of the sport, which means that from a young age you were picked to do one specific sport, and that was an example of me and Mr. Kearns, because from age 5 I was only allowed to play basketball, and from age 8 he was only allowed to play lacrosse, and it can lead to long-term injury that can derail the goals that they had. And then the conflict theory in sports. Coaches, agents, and schools frequently capitalize on the aspiration of athletes, and authority figures in sports have no obligation to athletes after injuries. So some examples, Kyle Hardrick lost his basketball scholarship in Oklahoma after he tore his meniscus, and Stanley Daugherty left South Carolina only to discover he had a serious spine injury that ended his NFL career. Symbolic interaction in sports. Wealth, fame, and glory are kind of the three big symbols of the sporting careers, and it symbolizes a way out for athletes with struggling financial living situations. For example, like LeBron James, Larry Bird, Michael Orr. So we also wanted to ask, why would people pursue a career in sports? It's obviously a class booster for the minority people that grew up poor, and the average NFL salary was $1.9 million in 2013, and also the NBA was $5.15 million. So it shows how if you're a minority athlete, you have a big chance of making money, which is a big motivation for work. And I already said about the escape pottery. So the next we wanted to cover was the matriculation of high school athletes to professional leagues. And we did the local, which was 56 of the active 1,696 players in the NFL were born in North Carolina, and with Havlicek High School and Northern Guilford have 3 active. We also wanted to show the NBA, which is 18 out of the 491 active players, and the most from the area is 3 from Charlotte. And the E.E. Smith High School Fayetteville has put 11 alumni to the NFL, but this was from about the 1950s to the 1980s. So this little sliver right about here, that is the percentage that makes it, which is 0.9%. And the percentage for high school is 99.91% that don't make it. And then the NBA, it's also this very tiny sliver, and that's the 0.3% that actually do make it. So we wanted to show how most people have the aspiration of making it, but it's actually very rare and hard to accomplish. And now we're going to show the national trends. So we have some statistics that we found, and one of them was a child from a low-income African-American family has 37% lower odds of making the NBA than a child of the same race from a middle or upper-income family. Another one we had was poor white athletes are 75% less likely to become NBA players than middle class or well-off whites. And then we have a black athlete from a family without 2 parents is 18% less likely to play in the NBA than a black athlete raised by 2 parents. Now we want to show the global, so around the world. Seth Stevens Davidowitz stated from his book Everybody Lies that growing up in a wealthier neighborhood is a major positive predictor of reaching the NBA for both black and white men. So this contradicts the trends in North Carolina, because as we showed, E.E. Smith High School, which has put the most NFL players in the NFL, and that's from Fayetteville, which is a poor area, so this kind of contradicts it. and we wanted to show how the improved recruitment for foreign players have lessened the chance for lower class athletes around here to make it. So on the flip side, more than 2 million high school athletes and a little over 1 million NCAA athletes are injured each year. By age 13, 70% of youth athletes quit sports entirely, and thousands of high school and college athletes suffer career-ending injuries. So this was showing how back in the conflict theory, the injuries can prevent a goal that you really wanted in life. The lucky few. So the .09 high school players that make it to the NFL can experience a career of 3.3 years, while the 0.3 of basketball players that make it can expect a little bit more to 4 to 5 years. So what? This is how we're going to round it up. Professional sports are not the golden ticket to upward social mobility that many perceive them as. The average career of professional athletes is technically no career at all, because you only do 5 years in a career, usually spans longer than that. And of the athletes that do succeed professionally, most are already well off financially and therefore do not experience any substantial upward social mobility. Here's our works cited. Thank you.